بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Welcome back to my channel QHE Tajweed Rules of the Quran channel in English. Today, inshallah, we will talk about the Tajweed. The Tajweed meaning and some important things in the Tajweed. The Tajweed. What's Tajweed is? تعريفه في اللغة والتحسين. Linguistic definition is improvement. تعريفه في الاصطلاح هو إخراج كل حرف من مخرجه وإعطاؤه حقه ومستحقه من الصفات. Applied definition: it is taking each letter out of its مخرج and giving it its rights and its worth from صفات. What we mean by its right and its worth: the right of the letter, for example, الحرف المفخم, the right of the مفخم letter, I put my tongue up from the back. What's the worth? The worth thing happened because I put my tongue up, which is the تفخيم, the letter become heavy. So, let's continue and understand inshallah more. It is principle, قواعده. The science of the tajweed depends in 4 things. Number 1, knowledge of the makhraj of the letters. You should to know the articulation point of the letters very clear and the makharij of the letters very clear. Number 2, knowledge of the characteristics of the letters. We should to know the صفات الحروف. We said makhraj is the last name and the characteristics, this is the human. So like it is very important any letter to have the 2 of them, the makhraj and the characteristics, to shape this letter right. Number 3 is knowledge of what rules the change in letters. What we meant by that? We meant by that, like for example the tanween. If I have ضمتين in the end of any word or any tanween and I will connect the letter coming after tanween, I should to follow إخفاء or إظهار or إضغام or إقلاب, the rules of nun sakina, for example. So we should to know this knowledge too, the rules of the tajweed, to know the rules of the changing of the letters. Last point, and this is the most important point, exercising the tongue and repeating a lot. A lot of non-Arab, for example, they say صاد like sin. And this is not their mistake. This is how they grow up. They don't have these heavy letters in their knowledge, in their asfa. They don't have these letters in their language. So they find it's very hard for them to say صاد at the beginning. But finally we find them say صاد. How they make it? By practicing their tongue. So they keep practicing a tongue because tongue is the second strongest muscle in the body. It's a muscle. As much as you train it, as much as you will reach for your target. Exactly like if you are playing exercise with your hand to build the muscles in your hand. As much as you play, as much as you take care of your muscle, as much as you will reach for your target. Same thing on your tongue. So don't feel disappointed ever in your life about the letters. I can't do it. I don't like to hear this word again. All the time put in your mind, I can do it and I will beat the Arab people. And you can, inshallah. And you can do it. Just keep in your mind, I can, and keep trying as much as you can. Practice your muscles of the tongue. You will reach to the target. And of course, sometimes if we keep practicing with the students, they make the letter once or twice and they don't practice anymore, they will back to their mistakes. That's why we say, and keep repeating, because usually the tongue go for the easy thing for him. If your language doesn't have heavy letter, doesn't have ayn, doesn't have this and that, right away, by time you will back for your normal language. Even for Arab, and even for Arab. Not all of us, all our public language is right. We still have mistakes in our letters. So how can we fix it? By practicing and repeating. Our next point, there is some science related to Tajweed science. And we have 5 science. It's very important and it's related to Tajweed science. The one who studied Tajweed, it's better for him to study this science. If we go as a branches under this science, there is a lot of things, but I will give the titles of this science, which is the knowledge of tafsir, understanding, knowledge of Arabic grammar, sarf and nahm, it's very important. Knowledge of waqf and ibtida, where you stop and where you start. One of the knowledges to the way Qur'an wrote and how it come to us. الرسم العثماني. How is the Qur'an wrote and how is the Qur'an come to us, and know the people they make riwayah. All this is يعني as an example from some knowledges we need to know besides the tajweed to read the Quran right. I think this is the main point. صرف, نحو, وقف, ابتداء, رسم عثماني, and the tajweed rules and tafsir. By this, our lesson for today is completely done. جزاكم الله خيرا. Watch my channel QHE Tajweed Rules of the Quran channel in English. Inshallah, next time we will talk about a new lesson in Tajweed introduction. جزاكم الله خيرا. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.